you know, for people who maybe don't, or, you know, am I doing something wrong, or can I do something better? So I think that it was in that kind of consultation period with you after we had the scans that I got loads of value with you actually breaking down the figures and telling me what they actually mean. So, I mean, just for people listening at home, what is the, you know, these machines that people usually use at home and may get for, you know, how accurate are they? What value do they have? If you kind of can give us your opinion on that.
Yeah, so you know, the fundamental technology that they all work off is called bioelectrical impedance. And the science behind that is very simply, it runs a current through your body, through the 2 points that you are attached to the machine. So sometimes that's, if it's just a standard scale, that's your 2 feet. So it'll run a current up one leg and down the other. Some of the more advanced ones, a couple of £100, will have a little handhold as well. So, and then it's able to run a current kind of, you know, up one leg, through one hand, down one leg, through the other hand, all of that kind of stuff. What it's doing is it's measuring how much that current is impeded. So how much of the current makes it to the receiving sensor. And the idea behind that is simply that muscle is wet tissues and will conduct the electricity. Fat will not. So that's all it's doing. The more fat you have, the more of the current gets impeded, and therefore, the machine is able to sort of say, okay, well, only this much of the current got impeded, made it through to the sensor. So therefore, you know, this person's at this kind of body fat level. The way that they've constructed the science is by taking readings and cross testing these people on a DEXA machine. So this is what they say about all of these things, is that they are cross-calibrated to a DEXA. The difficulty comes in that our things like our hydration level can massively affect the amount of that electricity that kind of passes through. So even the tests for which kind of there has been some scientific data to sort of say, okay, it's not too bad. Those are on the machines that are several £1,000s. Sometimes you might find them, the in-body things in gyms, but they are still hugely variable. You know, hugely variable from test to test, and people will have that. You know, will know that if you hop on it every single day, you might find that your body fat fluctuates several percent every day. Now, do we know that the body fat can't really fluctuate several percent every day? Absolutely, we know that. So that means that the reading itself must be off. So for those things to get an absolute figure, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. You won't really get a meaningful figure that you can kind of use and sort of pin that and say, this is my body fat percentage.
Is it just a gimmick then?
To a certain extent. But I mean, what you can do is, if you are measuring daily, let's say, if you know, you've got one in the gym and you step on it every day and you hold the little handles and it gives you a readout and you take a note of that, over time you can see trends. And there is value in that. I'm not going to deny it. There is absolute value in that. But you know, we have to understand the limitations that these machines have. You know,
I suppose the combination of wearable tech might make that a more powerful proposition than it was, say, 10 years ago, where you would have to actually just note it down yourself in a little diary and say, okay, I was 22%, now I'm 23, then I'm 21. With the tech, I suppose it might have a little bit more benefit that you could just bring up a graph or something like that.
That's right. And actually, like, you know, several clients do tend to show me kind of their graphs of their home scale that they take, and it automatically talks to their phone, and that kind of updates into their health app. You know, so and you can kind of, you know, start to see trends like that, but you also see the everyday, like it's going like this, and that's you know, that's disheartening.
So with that, you'd see trends as well, because like I was going to ask a similar question, like, you know, can you just use it daily and then you're using the same machine? It might not be accurate, but it's going to, as long as you use it, if you're using different machines, you're going to get different results, right? But as long as you're using the same scales, you're going to get this, you're going to get a kind of like you say, a trend. But it doesn't tell you really where you're at, does it? Like you're like a DEXA machine will tell you what you like where you are health wise, basically. Whereas this machine is just going to say you're going in the right direction, but it doesn't basically tell you that you're being healthy, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. So because, you know, we don't get an absolute figure, and whereas we do know that for health there are some absolute figures, you know, we know that American Council of Exercise recommends that, you know, below 20% body fat, you know, would be ideal for any age group. You're never going to get a figure that you can relate to that 20% figure from one of these scales. You know, I have one myself. I have for many years. I still get on it. I still laugh. It tells me that I'm 29.9% body fat the other day, you know, and I know from a DEXA that that's more than 15% out. So
wow, that's big then, yeah.
You know,